been wanting to do this for a little while now, but this is the deck I played at last weekend's locals, and I did pretty well with it. I ended up drawing in the last round, 3 wins, 1 draw. I should have won that game, but I misplayed slightly, and I'll go into detail about something I shouldn't forget. But Cooler, if you don't know what he does by now, and you've been on my channel, I really don't tell you, but attack, draw a card, for those that don't know. Whenever you decrease the attack of something on your opponent's board, they mill 1 for each instance, and if it's your opponent's turn, once per turn auto, and you do it with a battle card effect, you draw a card. So you can draw on your turn with attack, minus something, draw another card. When he attacks, whenever he awakens at 4 or less life, you untap 1, draw 1. Same effect on the front side and the back side. So, but also whenever you minus on your turn, once per turn with a battle card, you also draw a card. So a lot of draw power. Really cool leader. So got 4 of your Cooler. It's like on your main win cons. If you don't know what he does, he minuses 2 battle cards by 10, ignoring barrier, and Arrival Red. This card's super good. And he also is like your main win condition, is looping him. And then you got 4 Hercule Majin Buu. This card is really good in this deck for getting hand advantage. Does the same thing as Cooler, but instead of hitting 2 battle cards ignoring barrier, he hits 1 card. It does not ignore barrier, minus 10k, and you draw a card. Then you'll draw a card of your leader. So both of these, if you play once per turn on your opponent's turn, you draw a card. And if you sometimes on your awakened turn, on your opponent's turn, you get to do multiple of these and draw multiple cards, which is nice. 4 of your super combo to restand your multicolor energies into a rival. So it allows you to actually play things on your opponent's turn safely, and just makes it to where you just can't die very easily, that is. And then 4 Mecha Frieza. This card, I have a feeling they're going to create another check land that makes this deck a lot better soon. Hopefully, I hope they really do give us something similar to the Championship Pack Zamasu that actually has a good effect. He is okay. You never play him ever. You just want to charge him once or twice, and that's it. But you do need to see a multicolor on turn 1, so that's why they're first. The cards you actually really want to start with, other than a multicolor, are 1 Frieza Death Embrace, but you got to play 4 copies so you can see it. You could possibly go down to 3 because you don't play more than 1 or 2 per game. But when he's a cantrip, draw a card. Then he has the really cool effect, pay a red, and you can do that as many times per battle, and minus 10 something for the battle, which is really cool. So and it also works on leaders. So if you attack and you use this effect to pump, reverse pump your opponent's leader, and then you're swinging in with any swing, it doesn't matter what it is, you can just make them negative like 35k, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's a way to close the game out, and you draw cards. So on your second turn, if you play this, you can just get a free draw if they have anything on board when they attack you, which is nice. And then you got 4 Cooler combo attack. This guy recycles your 1-drop Frieza and your Coolers and puts them back, and plays himself up for 1 blue, which is nice. And then when he attacks, you get to combo a multicolor from your drop area. So he's a 25k beater when he attacks and helps you arrival cards on your turn. That's it for the main parts of the deck that help the deck function. But these are like your support cards. Your 4 of your Piccolo Junior Unison. I was playing Jiren before, but I really think that this deck needs the draw power. After playing, I did well with the Jiren version 2, so both work, and I've tried both in tournament, which is nice. But this card is super, super important at not clearing the board really, but drawing a card every turn and allowing your counterplay Yamcha to be live on turn 2 rather than being live later, like on turn 3 or 4 when you finally play Jiren. Super good. And he triggers your leader to mill 2 cards, which is nice. And this triggers your leader as well and helps you stay alive and protect your unison, which is nice. You know, like 3 copies of Wolfang. I had a 4th on the side. I don't think it's very necessary because you need to draw battle cards to do it, so you can actually draw cards off it. Also, fun fact, Yamcha does not trigger your leader to draw a card, but only to mill. To your other counterplay type effects and your counter attacks and stuff like that, we got 2 Vegeta Exploit Weakness and 2 Kaiokens. I do side a 3rd copy of each, depending on the matchup, because this card is super good against certain decks, and especially yellow. So if I expect a lot of yellow, I will be playing more copies of both of these most likely. Or just keep it 2 in the main, and then whenever I see what you're playing, I'll side in 1 more copy of each. This guy, pay 2, hit something minus 25, ignoring barrier, and that's nice to make them mill and get rid of threats and annoying cards. And he also has a board wipe effect, which is nice too, deflect. playing 3. This guy, you play on your opponent's turn most cases, and you hit everything minus 20k and plus your looter 5k, which is really nice. And if you do it before you, like say they're making a big push and they don't have any way to stop this effect, it is really hard for them to kill you through basically a free bean on your leader, and you mill them and draw a card. And then if they do somehow make you awaken, you will just be able to play more cards on your opponent's turn and draw more cards, which is nice. 3 Topa. If you guys have watched this deck profiles for a while for Cooler, I was not maining this card, but this format is catered towards Topa, or it does well with Topa. I do side a 4th copy, it does help. This helps you get to the turn 4, turn 5, so you can actually really make it to where your opponent can't kill you. 3 Violent Rays. This card helps you stop Dark Broly and other decks that just spam 20k, which is very nice. Do side a 4th copy of this. So I do side a lot of one-ofs of like additional copies of cards that you see at 3 or 2, which does help. And I also do side cards like I'm not gonna show the side deck today because I'm not exactly sure on the final one, but I do side different unisons as well if you're curious. You just basically swap them out in different matchups. And for more defense, and my favorite card, if you guys don't know, for Senzubin. This card is super good in this deck. I do like playing decks that really abuse Senzubin, if you didn't know. This deck abuses Senzubin probably the best outside of Blue-Yellow, which already has untap. So this deck untaps with Beerus and Bean. So I have like 8 copies of free untap. But you do have to be careful. People tapping you out when you don't have Beerus, which does hurt really bad. So if you don't see a Beerus, like Super Combo, you don't hold it, it can cost you the game, so be careful when you're using it. But yeah, this card helps you extend and on your opponent's turn and to play defense, which is very crucial, because the way this deck usually wins is either A, by deck out, or by outgrinding your opponent. So every card that you can save really matters, and every card you can game. So that's why that +1 on that Piccolo Unison is nice. And then your new win con. Once you stick this card, it is really hard for you to lose unless you're playing against like Invoker or something like that. So be mindful of the fact that this card is a blowout. And if you don't know what it does, new secret rare, dual attack blocker, which is nice. Usually the blocker part isn't too relevant, but it could be. But it has a +1 when your opponent attacks with a battle card. You can choose that battle card and -20 it, which is super nice. And that's optional, so like the uptick it, so you can do it whenever on any battle card. So it really makes them have to play around. And they mill 1 card off your leader effect. You don't draw a card, but that doesn't matter. And when you play him, he nukes the board -25k, ignoring barrier. And he has a win con built in, which is very nice in certain matchups, where he gets to -4. So you can actually just play him 4 or 5 and just go for -4, and he'll still get +1 on your next turn. But triple strike, dual attack, 40k battle unison is really hard to deal with, and it's super good. The other like secret rares you could play if you do not have this one: Heroine's Lineage, Supreme Kai. But usually the best 2 choices are Heroine's Lineage and this card, which Heroine's Lineage is much cheaper, but it gives you just another battle trick to help you save yourself if you play that card. But thank you guys for watching the video once again. And if you guys don't know, I have a store on TCG Player. So if you ever see it on there and you want to buy something from me, please feel free to do so. Airfare Gaming. And I'm hoping to start my own real store sometime. Working on that. But I'll keep you guys updated. See you guys in the next video. Deuces.